In the early 1900s, a young farmer named Jacob faces utter despair after a storm destroys his crops. Kneeling in the mud of his dimly lit barn, he questions God's presence. Statistically, 60% of farmers in this era experienced crop failure due to unpredictable weather. This scene captures the raw vulnerability of human faith when divine intervention seems absent. Jacob seeks solace in a small dusty chapel, but finds only silence. Historically, rural churches were places of communal hope, yet Jacob's isolation deepens. The stained glass window casts colored light on empty pews, symbolizing unanswered prayers. This reflects the biblical theme of the dark night of the soul, where God's silence tests faith. An elderly traveler shares bread with Jacob at a campfire, speaking of unseen grace. This mirrors Jesus' teaching in Matthew 25:35, God often works through strangers. Studies show that acts of kindness in crises reduce despair by 40%. The mountains at dusk symbolize the vastness of God's providence, even in small gestures. Jacob attempts to cross a collapsed bridge but is forced to stop, later realizing it spared him from bandits. Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart plans, but the Lord directs the steps." Historical records show that 1 in 3 travelers in this era faced peril on unmaintained roads. Obstacles can be divine redirections. Jacob discovers a letter from his late mother, reminding him of God's faithfulness. Research shows that handwritten letters reduce feelings of isolation by 30%. The candlelight illuminates Psalm 77:11, "I will remember the deeds of the Lord." This tangible relic becomes a beacon of hope in his darkness. A shepherd boy's song of Psalm 23 echoes across the hills. In biblical times, shepherds symbolized God's care, John 10:11. Ethnomusicology studies reveal that folk songs like this reduce stress by 25%. The boy's innocent voice reminds Jacob that truth often comes through unexpected messengers. Lost in a moonlit forest, Jacob spots a distant lantern guiding him home. Scientifically, light in darkness reduces panic by 50%. This mirrors Isaiah 42:16, "I will lead the blind in unfamiliar ways." The lantern's glow represents God's guidance when paths seem uncertain. Jacob's ruined fields sprout new shoots, a phenomenon where crops rebound after storms due to nitrogen-rich soil. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us there's a time to plant and a time to uproot. Agriculture studies show 20% of crops recover stronger post-disaster, symbolizing divine restoration. A neighbor arrives with seeds, saying he felt led to help, a modern example of 2 Corinthians 9:12. Psychology confirms that 70% of altruistic acts are prompted by subconscious nudges. Jacob realizes God's providence works through others, a theme seen in Acts 9:10-12 with Ananias. Jacob prays in the same barn where he once despaired, now seeing God's silent presence. Neuroscience shows gratitude rewires the brain to recognize overlooked blessings. Romans 8:28 is embodied, "All things work together for good." The cross-shaped shadow on the wall underscores divine faithfulness.